A few days ago, I had this idea of starting to combine. Well, I've wondered about it before, but I hadn't really done it. And that is combining granite or natural stone with wood. Now, I'm not the first to try this or do this. We did purchase a table a year or two ago that had a granite center and it was carved wood around it. It's just beautiful. But this is my first attempt at it. So these are some samples, and I was playing around with like how could I would it hang on the wall, and it turns out it's pretty heavy, but it's not outrageous. If you look at a glass mirror, they're much heavier. And this one's not really big. It's about 6 by 6. This one turns out to be quite square. The other one is not quite so square, but I think it's going to work out anyways. So what I did was I took my 1/4 inch paneling, which was salvaged from a building that was being torn down. So this could have been in the landfill, but we saved it. Cut it into the right size, and you do the same as what I did before. I put screws in to hold them in. And if you flex this, I might be able to get this in with one hand, I'm not sure. Well, maybe not. So if you flex it, kind of flex it down so it opens that space up a little bit, this will fit in there because I put them in with this in there and then I flexed it to get it out. So the idea would be that I take my caulking or pure silicone, either way, and I think would work. And this has a backing on it anyhow. So it's not like it going right to the granite, which definitely silicone would probably be better then. It goes right in, or it seems to. But, and this is from when the paneling was glued on, so I kind of scraped that off so it had a smooth surface. So the idea is to caulk it in there, flex it in there, and then it can be like a kind of a wall accent art next to a frame picture or something. So I actually did one, and you can see the back of it here. I made my little hanger tab out of some aluminum I had and screwed it in. Now this screw I put in at a slant because this is where the split is in my two pieces, so I needed it to go into one of them. Well, I kind of wanted it to anyways. I didn't want it to just go into the crack because I want it to hold more than just this 1/4 inch, although that I'm sure would hold it anyways. And then I put these on, this 1/2 inch strip on each side. Now that does two things. First of all, when this is hanging on the wall, this should make it hang parallel with the wall. So I like that. Secondly, this will stop it from flexing. And remember, the way I have these in there pretty darn tight. So you need to flex it to get this stone out. Now this is already caulked in, and it's sitting down there. It's been there for at least 20 minutes, so that caulking is probably starting to set. So let's turn it over. I already oiled. I didn't oil the back paneling because that already has a finish on it. Let's turn it over here. And there's what we have. So I think this is going to look really cool. Now when I oiled it, I did oil the edge of the stone. Oh, I also, before I put it in here, I took my sandpaper just by hand and I tried just taking the edge off of this with my sandpaper, which is just stuff from my belt sander that I rip up after it's not good anymore. And it did take the edge off. I wasn't trying to round it off or anything, but just to take off that sharp edge, and it did. So when I oiled this, I did oil all the wood and the edge of the stone. Now, that's not ideal because I know the oil is going to turn this yellowish, but it's really not the focus of the piece, so I'm okay with that. And I mean, it's too hard to not oil this edge here. It's so close. But I did not get oil on this because I don't want to turn that yellow. Maybe ideally I should put a granite sealer on it, but I don't have any right here, so that's one of the things I'm thinking about, getting a bottle of that just to have. So there we go. I think it's going to look great next to the other one. Okay, so there's my first attempt at wood with granite or natural stone as a wall accent piece, and I think it's pretty cool. Of course, I love stone and I love wood, so it would only make sense. I don't know what stone this is. I don't know if it's Arctic white or Orion white. It's probably has a white. It's one of the whiter granites, but it does have a lot of movement too, so you have a lot of character going on here. Now this one over here, actually this one was very square, so this one is no problem. This one over here was not so square, so this tip right here may not be exactly matching that one, because if you're off a 1/16 of an inch, it's going to change it a little bit. But with the, you can't really tell with the eye because you got a lot of movement here. You got black walnut there, and then you got your red oaks, and the grains are going different ways. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, so I don't think it's going to be noticeable. Well, actually, I don't really see it noticeable, even though it wasn't perfectly square. Okay, so accent art using wood and natural stone, in this case granite.